Well, I was not expecting this to show up on my YouTube feed when I woke up this morning. Honestly, even knowing the event, I didn't think we'd actually get the trailer the same day. But hey, we got it. We got a 7-minute whole trailer detailing some future projects for the Kingdom Hearts series. I mean, come on. Dark Road, a new 3D mobile game, and Kingdom Hearts 4. Yeah, I. That still feels weird to me. I was especially not expecting that. Like, literally, that is that is a thing now, and that is cool. Uh, anyway, I think I've watched this trailer, I gotta say, like 5 times now, so I figured I'd take the time to break down, analyze everything I was able to notice in the trailer, as well as give my general thoughts on what's going on. So yeah, let's get into that. First off, we got some scenes from Dark Road. First off, there's a Xehanort walking into the Magic Mirrors room, and he's asking if he recognizes him. This is likely the scene that was alluded to in BBS when Terra asks the Queen of Mirror if they saw Xehanort around and such. Of course, in terms of like the actual scene in Dark Road, it seems like this also alluding to the fact that the 600 classman will eventually meet the Mirror himself, which I do believe we have seen a tweet at some point, and also it's later on in the trailer, so that's neat. This would also explain how the Mirror would know who Xehanort is and where he's going at the time Terra asks him, or at least enough to make a cryptic message about it. Vare asks the gang why they all want to be Keyblade Masters, and Xehanort says he doesn't know, so already there's some clear angst about what being a master truly means in Xehanort's eyes, if it's even worth it, and the fact that he wants to follow a separate path. And then we have a conversation between Xehanort and Ericus, presumably after they've been made masters, as Xehanort now has the no-name Keyblade, ready to face Ericus with his signature Keyblade that we've seen before. And of course, Ericus says life has taught them different lessons. Next up, we got our standard 3-person party from the game getting attacked by the Spirit of the Mirror, then the Volcanic and Blizzard Lords in Agrabah. So I guess we are going back there after all. Okay. I'd assume these are boss fights that'll happen, or maybe would have happened during the game's run. God, I feel so bad for the devs of this game. They clearly had plans for it to go on for a solid couple of years, only for it to just fizzle out on a single update that most people won't even play, since the theater mode is just going to be unlocked from the get-go. It's just too bad, man. I feel bad for those guys. Anyway, then we get what I presume is another of these fights with Cerberus, but with a save from Baldur. Funny he shows up in the underworld of all places, since the Baldur in Norse mythology is famously known for, well, being dead. I mean, who am I kidding? Death is not at all a permanent thing in this universe. I mean, hey, maybe Baldur will show up again somehow. It's working for Strelitzia. Then we finally get a close-up view of the 7 upperclassmen in Enchanted Dominion. It seems they're contemplating what happened to Aurora, which implies that we're far enough along for Aurora to be alive and be cursed. Perhaps this takes place during the opening christening scene at the movie? Considering how this game allows us to see more prologue stuff, that's definitely in the realm of possibility. Then it seems they later got into a fight with Maleficent in her dragon form, presumably to question her for cursing Aurora. That is what these kids tend to do here. Then we're back in Scala, having a conversation between Odin and what seems to be Claude from Fire Emblem Three Houses? Okay. Anyway, he asks Odin about Kingdom Hearts, to which he says it is forbidden and that he should focus on his studies. Yeah, I don't even think the real Claude would ever fall for that, Odin. What makes you think this one will? Then, Claude is with the 600 classmen in the Cave of Wonders in Agrabah. I'd assume this is after they fight the lords and reach the end of the cave, just somewhere to the movie, I guess. He asks them to take the lamp and find light that's strong enough to accomplish our shared goal. So I guess somehow the genie's gonna have something to do with where the other upperclassmen are. From there we see Xehanort looking down at a fallen Ericus, both in Keyblade armor I might add, with the darkness standing behind. I'm 95% sure that this is the same darkness that guided Maleficent to the lifeboat in Data Daybreak Town during Eden Cross. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's the only darkness that has either been imprisoned or stuck inside somebody, so it makes sense. Odin comes in and says, so only you remain. So I guess this means that all the other students are dead at this point. This game is gonna hurt. And then Xehanort wakes up in front of the Master of Masters in the Keyblade Graveyard from the Remind scene. Or maybe it's the presumed one that was before the Remind scene. Either way, nice. I think we already knew we were gonna get an extended version of these two meeting from an earlier tweet, but still, it's good to see it here. Then what Kingdom Hearts trailer would be complete without Xehanort and Ericus playing chess? I guess this is after Vare asks why they want to be Keyblade Masters, and Xehanort asks Ericus his dream, and he says, I want to stay true to the light. So I guess sticking to the light is more important to him than even being a master at that point. Which, honestly, is pretty accurate to even the Ericus we see in BBS, so I guess he's just always had that mentality. Yeah, that's gonna make Xehanort's shift in view to the darkness even harder for him to swallow. And that seems to be exactly what happens as we get another glimpse of our two favorite chess players' confrontation with each other. Xehanort says Kingdom Hearts is the only way, so I guess he's finally kicking off the plans we see him pull off in the Dark Seeker arc. Xehanort asks Ericus if he stands in his way as a true master, and he responds, as a true friend. And then one last shot of Xehanort putting flowers on graves of the fallen. This game is gonna break me a bit, I can feel it already. Alright, now let's see what the new release date's gonna be for this game. I'm sorry, what? So let me get this straight. You thought you could get this update out in September, then winter, then spring, and now freaking August. These are 2D cutscenes with no spoken dialogue and gameplay that you haven't even touched or tried to change in a year. What exactly do you need 4 more months for? I swear if this gets delayed one more time. I mean, I know this is a small development team and they're not getting that much money out of this, but like, still, I feel like this amount of time is a little excessive for this kind of project. Whatever, at least it looks like the story itself is gonna get a lot more interesting, and that's all I'm really hoping for at the end of the day. Well, with all that out of the way, we move on to the next trailer, which opens with an unwritten era, then some flashes from Keyback Cover, Union Cross, Dark Road, BBS, and Kingdom Hearts 1. But then it rewinds to before the Xehanort and Ansem meeting in Dark Road, then says everything is connected. Okay, that is actually a really cool way to show how this is taking place in between Union Cross and Dark Road, especially since, like, in time with the new Dearly Beloved theme. I'm not sure if this is, like, gonna be, like, the actual Dearly Beloved theme for this game, or if it's just made for this trailer, but either way, I am loving how it sounds. My gosh. It just gets me in such a triumphant mood, almost as if I'm in a march or something. Which, since this seems to take place in a more populated Scala at Kylum, I mean, that would make sense. All these wielders are marching to protect the light, as the Daybreak Kids once did. Alright, we got our first look at this part of Scala at Kylum in the Unreal Engine. Oh my gosh, this makes it look so cool. Oh, and we got a close-up of one of the bearers of No Name. I mean, they're in a hood, but still, it's something. We know they're there now, at least. Then we get a look at one of the customizable player characters, and some more shots of Scala, including a look at Ephemer's statue and CG. My gosh, this looks so good! While a voiceover tells us the purpose of this town. Then the Missing Link title shows up before going vertical, meaning our worst fears have come true. Yay, another mobile game. I mean, I'm still gonna play it regardless. I mean, I've spent so many hours into Union Cross and Dark Road that, like, I can't not play this one, and like, it makes sense why they do this, as mobile is basically the equivalent of handheld gaming in the late 2000s to Square. So now that they can make more mobile games more easily with 3D stuff, like what they did with the Final Fantasy VII Battle Royale thing, they're gonna milk this out as much as they can. I have no idea if this is gonna do well or not. I don't even know what happened to the Battle Royale thing with FF7, but I don't know, this is less of a clear-cut premise than the other mobile games, I feel like, but at least they fulfilled the dream of having a true blue KH action RPG on mobile, so good job, devs. I hope you don't get as malnourished as Dark Road did. So looking at some gameplay of the player character free roaming, it looks like this is more of a city-based island in Scala that we can run around in, including... Oh, I guess we can move up buildings now, nice. It looks a little too low-res and empty for me personally, but like, that's kind of what KH handhelds have always been like, so I can't really complain. The voiceover here seems to be playing a bit to what Master Xehanort said in KH3, how this is a world from which all others spring from, meaning all walks of life are a part of this world as something bigger. It's a pretty neat idea that I'm excited to see more fleshed out. Then we move into gameplay, and it looks like your typical KH combo stuff can be done no problem, but to cast magic or special attacks, we'll be using figures. So I guess these are the new cards or medals that people will sink hundreds of dollars to collect their favorites, and or to get abilities necessary to beat the toughest enemies of the game. I can't wait! uh, Honestly though, the gameplay itself looks pretty clean for a mobile game, and I'm sure this is going to be more fun to play than Union Cross and Dark Road ever were. So, looks like Corona's gonna be one of the worlds we visit. Again, looks a little low res compared to KH3, but that's to be expected. Honestly, I'm just glad we get to come back and see new things from the CGI worlds from KH3 as opposed to the same 2D worlds we visited half a dozen times over. I'd presume this shot is also somewhere in Scala at Kylum. I mean, I don't know where else it could be, and like, the things they're doing with the different islands seem to be pretty distinct from each other anyway, that they basically feel like separate worlds, but like, honestly, I have no idea what this is supposed to look like. This could be Twilight Town, or San Francisco, or some other world entirely, and I'd have no idea, which, hey, maybe that's the point. Okay, well this one for sure looks like Scala, and actually looks a bit similar to the area where Sigurd and Brain first met up at the end of Union Cross. Then it looks like we're fighting Darkseid in, again, not sure. I think it could be a CGI Enchanted Dominion, since there's thorns in the surrounding area, but it also looks a lot more deserty than I expect from that world. Actually, because of the textures of the ground, I thought this was Keyblade Graveyard at first because of that. But there's also a tree in the background, which the graveyard I don't think has ever had. I could also see this as another area of Corona, I guess, maybe near the mines. That kind of looks similar. I honestly have no clue. Oh, also from this scene, it looks like you'll be able to play alongside other players. So, I don't know, maybe that means it's just like a raid area type thing for multiplayer. Oh, hey, Brain's here! Man, I can't wait to finally hear this guy talk, along with all the other Union Cross exclusive characters. The stars shone contorted in the pitch black sky. So I guess when Brain woke up, there was some sort of movement with the worlds. Maybe that has something to do with that shot with Darkseid? Maybe some worlds are melding into other ones, like maybe this is an amalgamation of Enchanted Dominion and Corona and maybe the Keyblade Graveyard. Well, regardless, I think Missing Link looks pretty promising as a new KH mobile game. Looks fun, and with picking up where Brain and Sigurd left off in Scala, and a new generation of Keyblade wielders, I'm excited to see how this plays out. Even if it drains my phone battery.